If you want to get started wholesaling real estate from scratch, like absolutely from zero, and you want to get rich, this is exactly what you got to do. Now, my name's Zach Ginn. I've done over 3,000 wholesaling real estate deals. And yes, I make millions of dollars every single year wholesaling houses. But the thing about it is, if you took all the money out of my bank account and you threw me anywhere around the country and you said, Zach, you're brand new, straight from scratch, $0, how am I going to get rich? Well, I'm going to show you exactly today how I do it step by step. And more importantly, how you can build momentum and really crack the wholesaling code that took me about 4 or 5 months to really get a good grip on this business, and how I did it and how you could start doing it in 2025. Now, really going back and looking at my entire wholesaling real estate journey, it was definitely the unconventional path. And I'll be honest with you, I hit really easy momentum points where a lot of people struggle. For example, I started doing SMS when nobody was doing it, right? I started doing government lists when nobody was doing it. I did reverse drawing for dollars when nobody was doing it. But the thing is, I teaching it, and now, it's getting more busy and popular. I kind of tell you what I kind of invent in wholesaling, like my new marketing strategies. And you got about a year or two to use it before, it gets saturated. But my entire wholesaling journey has always been a constant state of improvement, going from doing 1 deal a month to 2 to 3 to 4. This is not going to be a business where you're going to make $3 million your first year. It just does not happen. You might be able to run up 300K, 400K, but that's not the point. You go from 400K your first year, maybe to 5 to 600K to $1 million, and then from there. So as long as you're in the wholesaling marathon, not the wholesaling sprint, you are going to become a success. The ones that try to get 50 grand in and out, like quick adventure in wholesaling, and it's just not going to work. And so my wholesaling journey has always been predicated on the fact that I had a goal and I met that goal. My original goal getting started in wholesaling real estate was to make $100,000. I actually hit that my first year. So ever since then, I've been really keeping this little game of just going from 100 grand and then doubling it and then going up and up and up. But the main reason I can always attribute my wholesaling success to was my absolute hard work and grind. Now, I know that's cliche to say, but if you just don't quit, you're going to win. So if you have no money, if you don't quit, you'll actually become a success in this business. Nobody else in this wholesaling game is going to tell you this, but if you just keep playing the game, you're going to get better and you're going to start making money. I have so many examples in my community, freewholesaling.com, of people that have been following me for years and no wholesaling deals, but they never decided to quit. And then they eventually got their first deal and their second deal. And then now they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Now, sometimes it takes a little while to, hit your wholesaling growth spurt, but if you don't quit, you're going to make money. And so my biggest plea for anybody before we get started is do not quit. So how do I start from scratch? First and foremost, don't get cute. This is one of the worst sins I see in the wholesaling game getting started, is when you want to get all these different softwares and systems and processes and trying to get nuts. I like to think of the acronym KISS, K-I-S-S. Keep it simple, stupid. And I'm not calling you stupid. Maybe I think about it to myself when I say, but keep it simple, stupid. Stop complicating it. But your first wholesaling deal is going to be just from one wholesaling list. It's not going to be from you doing 17,000 different things. Now, I'm assuming you got no money, so we're not really going to get into any of the paid stuff, right? And obviously, you got no cash, so we can't go get X leads. We kind of are blessed when we have no money because we don't really have any other options except for the free options I have at freewholesaling.com. And so if you have no money and you want to start finding a wholesaling deal, you can only find a wholesaling real estate deal from marketing. And marketing is just lists and channels. So again, the free wholesaling list that I give out, I have an entire spreadsheet in freewholesaling.com. As you know, I have my list of the month where I'll actually pull a list. I'll skip trace it and give to you so you can start calling or texting. I also have my government list of the month where I'll go pull a government list in a random place. I will personally skip trace it myself and I'll give it to you absolutely for free. So first and foremost, I give all the lists for free, all skip traced in freewholesaling.com. All you need to do is do the calling or the texting. So by the way, that's a free entire method that I just give to the people absolutely for free right now. So if you keep it simple, you'll do well. The vast majority of wholesalers, if I'll be honest with you, about 80% of my successful stories of people getting their first deal or even the first 100 grand, they only get it from 3 types of ways. Number 1 is through cold calling. Number 2 is through SMS text blasting. Or number 3 is by drawing for dollars or reverse drawing for dollars. Being straight up with you, those are the 3 most common ways us wholesalers in freewholesaling.com and on his YouTube channel get their first deal. Now, there's digital bandit signs, there's email blasting, there's door knocking, there's MLS on market. Like, there's all these other strategies out there. I'll be completely straight up with you. That does work. But if you choose just one method and go all in on that one, especially as a beginner, it's going to be hard to lose. Now, obviously, when you add more on there, that'd be great, but most people have this analysis paralysis. And when I say to keep it simple, also, that means your market. So stop trying to do 17,000 different markets. Oh, I'm a wholesaler in 17 states. Bruh, get out of here. Choose one market. So if you're in a market that sucks for wholesaling, right? So if the population is under 100,000 for the county, go somewhere virtual. If the median home price is above 500 grand, go to a different market. If you want to find a good virtual wholesaling market, I teach them all on freewholesaling.com, as you know, but just make sure the median home price is under $500,000 and the population is over 100,000 for the county. There are a lot of these areas. So if you're in Los Angeles, try Jacksonville, Florida, and keep it simple. Pull a list or have a list I provide and just start calling, texting, or start email blasting or something. If you're in person, I highly do recommend drawing for dollars, one of my favorite strategies out here. If you keep it simple, you're going to get deals. Now, the next part is really understanding where to put our focus on as a beginner wholesaler. What I really recommend for you is to just have the eyes on the prize. Now, the main focus where we're putting all of our effort towards is just getting in front of motivated sellers. That is it. That is how simple this business is. If we could find people that want to sell their property for cash, we're gonna make money. If we could focus really hard on just getting in front of people that are motivated to sell, right? Getting the right lists, getting the right channels, being in the right areas, we're gonna succeed. The thing about it is, if we're just doing something that is going to eventually produce us deals, if we don't quit, we have the right list, we start hitting the right channels, we're eventually going to hit some gold. And that's the main point here. So just focus on the mission. If you're trying to go out here and make a Facebook page and then you try to be all professional and create a slogan and a website, like, guys, focus on just getting motivated sellers. You do not need the website. You do not need the cute little sticker on your car. You don't need to go and text your friends that you're in real estate or talk about wholesaling. Just focus on getting in front of sellers and getting contracts signed. Everything else will sort itself there. Now, next here is going to be probably the most uncomfortable part of this video for you. This is going to be picking your hard, picking your struggle, picking your grind per se. And a lot of people get into wholesaling, they feel like it's this fairy dream. It's going to be all sunshine and rainbows and sweet, awesome pixie fairy dust unicorn. I'll be honest, like that's not wholesaling. Wholesaling real estate is hard work. I don't know whoever told you wholesaling real estate was easy, but they're lying to you. Wholesaling real estate is one of the hardest things I've ever done, but also it's one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. And kind of like running, it really sucks to do. I hate running. It is not fun. But one thing I could tell you, as someone that's ran a marathon and hundreds of 5Ks, it gets easier the more you do it. And it goes from it really sucks to it only kind of sucks. And that's kind of how wholesaling real estate is. If you call 10 sellers, it is going to be the most brutal thing in the world. But if you call 1,000 sellers in a couple months and then you try to call 10, it's not going to suck that bad. And so if you could just pick exactly what you're going to do that's going to not be fun, that's going to be hard, and you actually embrace that, yeah, this is going to be hard, but it's going to get me closer to my goal, that's the point. Nothing in life that is really awesome or amazing that people want is going to be easy. Objectively, let's talk about 19-year-old boys, okay? They all want Lamborghinis and Ferraris. Is it easy to get a Lamborghini or a Ferrari? No, it's hard. That's what makes it valuable. Everybody has a Toyota Camry. That doesn't mean it's valuable because kind of anyone can, it's not that hard to get a Toyota Camry. It's hard to get a Lamborghini. What about having kids? Are kids easy to raise? No, it's very difficult, but very rewarding for many people. Is being married easy? Well, it's easy to love someone, right? But it's not easy to stick to a marriage and work on it every single day. But if you're willing to do it, the rewards outweigh the difficulties of it, right? Is working out, weightlifting hard? Yes, it is. But are the rewards better? Yes, they are. Just like wholesaling real estate, yes, you can make millions of dollars, and you will if you work hard, but it's not going to be fun to do some days. There's going to be plenty of days, and I'm just being straight up with you, that you're not going to want to call. You're not going to want to text. You're not going to want to go do a deal. You're going to do it either way, and then you're going to get a deal, and then you're going to be fine. I promise you, working wholesaling real estate and doing deals and making money is way easier than working a W-2 job. I don't care what anyone tells you. To make 100 grand in wholesaling is so much easier than making 100 grand at a corporate job and kissing everyone's butt and then potentially getting fired from AI. But you just have to understand that there are going to be days that suck and are not easy. Kind of like in the beginning, if you don't quit, you're going to be successful. So now that we understand that wholesaling is not easy, it is kind of difficult to do, but the rewards are the best here. Let's kind of break down how we're going to get that goal. How, with no money at all, we're going to have success. The way we're going to have success and the way we're actually going to make money here is going to be what I'm calling my 1,000 challenge, my 1K challenge, or whatever way that makes it feel good. But this is going to be a challenge that is going to push you, that is going to get you deals, that is actually going to get you across that finish line that you've been struggling with. Did I mention it was easy? No. Did I mention it's going to get you results? Yes. So if you pay me a bunch of money for a course, program, whatever it is, you want accountability, this is going to be it. Now, before we get in this challenge, you should go to my free wholesaling course, freewholesaling.com. I deleted every single video I had in the past and spent an entire year of my life writing, curating, creating this entire unique course that you're never going to see on YouTube. It is all behind a wall, so only members of my community can see. Now, you might be like, Zach, well, how much is this? Again, it's 100% for free. I'm hiding from the public, so only people that want to be in my community and learn with me are going to get for free. So it's freewholesaling.com. It's the #1 largest wholesaling real estate community and course. I deleted everything and re-recorded everything for it, and it took an entire year to create and write out. But it is my greatest piece of content I've ever made. It's all there in freewholesaling.com. And from there, you're going to basically learn the tips, scripts, objections, all these things, right? But what I want you to do is first learn how to wholesale at freewholesaling.com, join the community, and you're really going to understand everything I'm about to tell you. But let's stick to this 1,000 challenge, this 1K challenge. This challenge is you need to pick your heart and just do 1,000 of that thing. Now you might be like, what are you talking about, Zach? Are you okay here? What I mean by this is, let's say you pick 1,000 calls. So that means you're going to do 1,000 calls and you're going to do it. You're not going to quit. You're not going to complain. You're going to tally how many calls you make, but you are not going to stop until 1,000 calls are made. Now, it might take you a month. It might take you 2 months. It might take you a week. Don't really know how many calls you're going to do a day, right? It depends on your schedule. Everyone's schedule is a little different. But if you stick to 1,000 calls and say, this is what I'm doing, and you do it, you are going to get leads and most likely deals depending on the list you do. If it's a government list, probate, drawing for dollars, you're going to crush it. So what I would tell you to do is, for the vast majority, if you can locally wholesale, I would get in my car, I would drive for dollars, I'd find 1,000 leads, which is a lot of work in itself. I do know this. And then I'd call those 1,000 leads. I'd probably skip trace it with True People Search cyber background checks with no money. And I would just call these leads up. It's going to be a grind, but I promise you, you're going to get deals. Now, maybe you want to do 1,000 texts. That's a lot easier. You can do that. Less likely you get a deal with 1,000 calls is like the most surefire way you're going to get a deal. 1,000 texts is a lot less work, but still good results from there. I recommend you use Google Voice for the calling and texting. Now, if you want to be a grinder and you really want to actually have some insane success, maybe you stick to sending 1,000 sticky notes out. That, impressive in itself. I still to this day don't know one wholesaler that put out 2,000 sticky notes that never got a wholesaling deal. Really think about that. I can guarantee if you want to put in 2 hours a day of work, you're most likely going to be able to put out 2,000 sticky notes in a year. That's literally putting 5 or 6 sticky notes out every single day for a year straight. And you will make at least $10,000. Now you might get lucky. Maybe you get that deal. It's a $40,000 or $50,000 deal. You're probably going to get way more than one deal though. But I still don't know to this day somebody that has done 2,000 sticky notes that has not got a wholesaling deal. So that pretty much surefire guarantees the way you become successful. Now, why am I so sure about this? Because I have taught hundreds of thousands of wholesalers how to get rich and become successful wholesaling. Not one has done this challenge and lost. It's like saying it's really hard to be obese and walk 15 miles a day. I bet there are some people who have done that, and people that do that. Very, very, very rare. But when I say I don't have one, I have no documented example. Now we keep going down the line, right? And this one, we're not going to do 1,000 in total. It might be 1,000 a day, but like if you could do 1,000 digital bandit signs, you're most likely going to get a deal. If you could do about 1,000 emails out a week, right? You probably need a little extra volume, right? Probably about 52,000 emails for a year to get a wholesaling deal. If you could stick to those fundamentals, I can almost promise you a wholesaling deal, right? Like, I mean, in freewholesaling.com, I have an entire video about how many leads for a deal, and I break down how many leads in a specific category of wholesaling for marketing you have to do to get a wholesaling deal. If you follow this stuff to a T, you're going to become successful. The whole point about this is if you commit you're going to do 1,000 calls at call 797, you're not going to say, it's not going to work. I'm going to quit. No, I said do it. Don't stop. Treat it like you're in a 5K. You don't quit the 5K. You might walk a little, right? You might have to slow it down for a couple days, but you ain't going to quit. Remember, I told you in the beginning, don't quit. We're going to make you a success here. And the reason why you're going to become successful doing this versus pretty much anybody else is most people can't do 1,000 calls. Most people can't even put out 15 sticky notes in total for an entire year because it's just too hard. My generation, anybody under the age of 25, are super soft. 90% of you are soft. And I'm not saying that as to offend you. If you're watching this and you're actually not getting offended by me saying my generation's soft, you're probably in the 10% that aren't soft or crybabies. And you're probably the 10% that are actual warriors that will get anything done for success. But the bare minimum, right? The absolute bar to get wholesaling real estate deals, most people can't even hit that. Most people can't do the bare minimum for success. That's why I always say the bar for success in wholesaling has never been lower. Yes, there's more wholesalers, but they still can't hit that bar and they still don't want to work hard. So if you're somebody that wants to work hard and you just don't quit, you're going to win. Now, on top of this too, start doing this challenge. I know you're going to get success from this, but I also want to reinforce something else with you too. It's really important to reinforce why you're in this business and that you're not alone. Human beings, we're social creatures. And some of y'all, maybe you're haters, I don't know. Maybe don't believe me. Maybe I'm just all BS and I'm all fake and the haters were right. Well, how about this? How about you go to freewholesaling.com? How about you go communicate with 100 of our community members? I promise you, you're going to find a large percentage of them got a wholesaling deal. You may be like, wow, I talked to like 50 guys today and 5 of them are making 30 grand a month. Maybe Zach is right on what he's doing. Because a lot of us really psych ourselves out. We say, the stuff's not for me. It just doesn't work. But if you have overwhelming evidence to support that the stuff does work, you just need to keep going, you're more likely to go do it, right? I always use this example, but if Johnny Boy 62 decides to comment, Zach, you're broke and you suck at wholesaling, I go look at my bank account, look at millions of dollars and say, I don't think I suck at wholesaling and I do make millions of dollars still. So my evidence kind of supports that you're wrong. Same thing with your brain. Your brain wants to tell you to go do the easiest thing possible, which is to quit wholesaling and to sit on the couch and watch your housewives. Your brain doesn't want you to work harder than you really need to. That's probably good for survival instincts. But if you stick with the community member and say, hey, I did 300 calls today. Hey, I did 300 texts today. These were my results. What do you guys think? And a guy who's making 40 grand a month texting says, hey, that's great, Zach. Maybe you should do this, this, and this too. And you communicate, wow, this guy doesn't quit. Hey, what are you doing for success? I'm doing this, this, and this, and I don't quit. I'm in a community of other successful minded people. And a lot of people get really caught up in life when they talk to their friends and family and they're like, oh, you're doing that real estate scam, that real estate pyramid scheme. First and foremost, this little pyramid scheme, like I'm not asking for money, right? And there's no like, bring 2 people in and then you to get money. That's a pyramid scheme. Like this ain't a pyramid. I'm not even asking for money. Like I'm just giving this stuff for free. Like how is this a pyramid scheme? I'm not even asking for money, but that's for a different day. You get a lot of haters in your life, and especially people that don't want you to be doing better than themselves. So talking to people in the community that are actually trying to better themselves and actually become way more successful in life are going to be instrumental for your success in wholesaling. That's why I highly recommend you stick with the community. Now, I have two communities basically, right? So I got freewholesaling.com, which is the free course, and I also have my community in there too. But I also have ZachDiscord.com. And that is my Discord community. It's actually my WAP community too. So it is free. I don't sell it, right? The course is with the Discord, and then the same course is at the school. So freewholesaling.com is the free school group, and then ZachDiscord.com is the free WAP group, and you'll get Discord access on Zach Discord, and then the school access to learn wholesaling for free at freewholesaling.com. So two things you can learn again, freewholesaling.com and ZachDiscord.com. Not because I'm trying to funnel you to go pay for something, but because the real community members are in there. And a lot of guys, they love watching these videos, but they're grinding all day. And when they're done grinding, they might not watch a video. They might want to hang out with other successful wholesalers and see what's happening. Like as of this recording, I know for a fact there's probably 15 community members in the voice chat just hanging out, sharing the screens and talking about their day. And maybe they're talking about the results for the day. It's the best accountability you can have. So all you have to do is just start grinding. Start with the hard work. You can find the cash buyers. If I got a deal, I locked it up and I had no money, right? I'd go straight to Zillow. I'd just go straight for the 4 rents. I would find some realtors and also go in the Facebook groups to find some cash buyers, which we teach in freewholesaling.com, and just start getting to work. Cash buyers are free. Finding motivated sellers for free. The only thing that you need to start doing is just action. So if you can commit to yourself and actually believe that you can actually do this, I promise you, there are people that are younger, dumber, with way less time in their day that have become millionaires through wholesaling real estate. So what is your excuse if somebody who is younger, dumber, and have less time during their day is becoming way more successful than you? You can probably run in the laps around these people, but you just got to believe in yourself, because what those people did was to believe in themselves. And if you don't believe in yourself, you're not going to have success. So guys, my plea for you here is to go through the course, pick what your hard's going to be, and stick to 1,000 of at least some type of marketing. And I promise you, you're going to get leads and you're going to become successful. And if you have any problem during your journey, make a post in freewholesaling.com. Ask all the community members in ZachDiscord.com. Me and the fellow millionaires and 6-figure wholesalers are going to give you advice absolutely for free to coach you for success. We all want to see everybody win in this game. If you want to start winning, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, go to freewholesaling.com, and we'll see you soon. This is Zach signing out. Have a blessed one.